午前3時にバトラさんがゲストハウスに戻られて、その後30分くらいで皆さんも解散されたんですね。
そうよ。いい加減眠くなってきて、一眠りしてから仕切り直そうってことになったのよ。
To smoke out the murderer of the first Twilight, Erika closely questioned everyone involved to check their alibis and evidence. To confirm these, she went around the mansion with them, and when needed, took several trips out to the guest house through all the rain. Her vitality was admirable, though she was an uninvited guest. Everyone had long since stopped feeling anything strange about the way she imitated a detective. Interesting. And to the meta we go, alright. Oh!
エリカも着実に基礎を固めているようですな。
Organ Short, number 200 million in C minor. I was not expecting to see Rodolphe. I was expecting to see Lambda Delta. Okay, if it was Lambda Delta, we would have saw a lightning flash rather than a slow transition.
無駄なことよ。アリバイがあろうとなかろうと、わらわたちの存在を否定することなどできぬわ。金蔵は窓より逃れ、今や六軒島の霞よ。決して捉えることも否定することもできぬ。さしずめチェス盤の裏側にでも逃げ込んだとでも言えばいいのかしら。
その場合はしまい込んだというのが適当でしょうな。
そういえば例の第一の晩の死体、同じくしまい込んだのであったな。異界と人間界の狭間の私の暗黒にしまってあるわ。
You know, I'm having trouble trying to think of a way that the bodies could have been moved by human means. Yeah, I've been having a lot of trouble thinking about that because everyone was together around the time the bodies would have been moved. So, yeah, I'm actually really stuck in that regard because I don't know what happened with the bodies. Since everyone was together, I don't understand how the bodies could have been moved by, you know, humanly means. Yeah, no, I have nothing. I have nothing for that one.
あの探偵気取りに見つけられることはあるまいな。当然よ。人間には絶対不可能だわ。確認する？
What?
念のためな。そしてわらわたちも今後のベルンカステル教の狙いを今一度読み直す必要があろう。
I'm surprised that they're allowed to go into Gap's world between the human and magical world, but at the same time it is Gap's world, so maybe they can transfer us in there.
敵を知れば百戦も危うからずですな。
I know that quote from somewhere. Or I've seen a quote similar to that. Huh.
真に知れば百戦も戦わずに勝てるわ。
Yeah, that sounds really familiar.
いやいや、まったく。
Gap opened up a large, pitch-black hole in the sky and had to swallow all of them up. She invited Beato and Rodolphe to the Gap Between Worlds, where she had hidden the corpses. That place was nowhere in this world, and existed at no time in this world. In other words, it truly and literally was a place not of this world. In this place, questions such as, where is this? And what time is it? Had no meaning. Every single place led to here, but no place could be reached from here. Furthermore, all times connected to this place, but no time could be passed from here. So it's a paradox. In short, this place was just what they said it was, the underside of the chessboard. No, perhaps it would be most appropriate to call this the captured pile, where the pieces that have left the game go. Interesting. Then, deep within this pitch-black world, 5 corpses came into view, illuminated by a glow like a faint spotlight. Voiceless. 5 pitiable corpses, with their necks sliced open, had been arranged neatly. Their eyelids were shut, and their hands joined. Apparently, even Gap had respect for the dead.
おや、
Hey, Virgilia!
今回のゲームの第一の番の犠牲者は5人なのですか ?6 人ではなく。おお、お師匠様ではないか。どこへ行っていたやら心配したのだぞ。ゲームはもう第一の番を迎えて、ご覧の通り最初の犠牲者が出ておるわ。さあ、いよいよだ。ワクワクしてきたぞ。そうですか。ここのあなたは元気そうですね。何よりです。わらわは元気と魅惑のボディ。あと気立ての良さくらいしか取り柄はないぞ。
For some reason, Virgilia praised Beato for her high spirits. Though Beato was taken aback at such granny-like words coming out of Virgilia's mouth all of a sudden. Okay, don't let Virgilia read the script. She answered while bumping a fist against her chest. Oh, like this? Yeah, like that. Virgilia had been absent often during this game. She might even have been away from her seat when Balor solved Epitaph, and during the uproar that followed. Apparently, she had been absent for so many critical points that she didn't have a very good grasp of what had happened so far in this game.
今のところ出ている死体は5人。見ての通り、首をすっぱりよ。
George, Jessica, Maria, Rosa, Genji. Something sharp had sliced open all 5 of their necks. Those gaping wounds opened wider than their mouths, and made it feel as though they would no longer need their mouths to breathe.
なるほど。ジョージ、ジェシカ、マリア、ローザ、ゲンジの死体は誰が見ても一目で死亡が確認できるというわけですね。
It's very hard to fake a neck wound. I'm gonna be honest here. It's really hard to fake a neck wound.
赤か。まあ、お師匠様にケチっても始まらぬ。そうとも、死んだふりなど絶対にありえぬ。誰もが一目で死亡を確認できる死体であるわ。なぜリーヤは赤を？
さて、しかし常にお嬢様のことを思われている方です。お嬢様に利する何らかのお考えがあってのことでしょう。
But they had hidden the corpses here so that no one could use the red. Despite that, however, Ronovia was right. Virgilia always thought of Beatrice first. The way that these corpses, which Gap had gone to all the trouble of erasing, had now been confirmed with the red, made a slightly displeased. I'm going to repeat this line entirely. The way that these corpses, which Gap had gone to all the trouble of erasing, had now been confirmed with the red, made a slightly displeased expression rise to Gap's face. However, in the end, she remembered that she was only a guest, and shrugged.
なぜガープに死体を隠させたのですか？
Dead angle.
今回のわらわのゲームはすでに碑文が解かれているため普段とは変わっておる。今は夏日に仕え、夏日を守ることを目的にしているのだ。
彼らの死体を隠蔽することがどう夏日を守るのです？
Oh?
向こうの手は大体読めてるの。多分これは夏日を追い詰めるための罠。おそらく第一の番のアリバイを突き詰めていくと、夏日以外の全員にアリバイが現れるのよ。
夏日様は昨べは最初に親族会議を抜けられ、その後はお部屋で一人でお休みでした。お気の毒なことに朝までアリバイが全くありません。
金蔵の存在はすでに否定不能とした。しかし一つだけそれを打ち破る手が敵に残されている。
なるほど。夏日を追い詰め、金蔵は存在しないと自白させるわけですね。
うん。敵の狙いはおそらくそんなあたりよ。親族会議をめぐる駒たちの動きからわらわたちはいち早く夏日の孤立を察知し、その罠に気づき、こうして手を打ったのだ。
死体が消える。全員にアリバイがあり、運搬車が存在しない。
I like how proud she sounds as she says the corpses disappear. I like how proud she sounded when she said that.
魔女の存在を主張しつつ、同時に死亡説自体にも疑問を投じることで、夏日をギリギリ容疑者から逃すことができるわ
け。つまり夏日様は第一の番の犠牲者が実は死んだふりだったと主張することが可能ということですな。
いとこ部屋で大勢がその死を確実に確認しているにもかかわらずですか？
確認など赤き真実に到底及ばぬ。彼らがいくら確かな死亡を見たと主張しようとも、人間界に赤き真実は存在しない。死体が存在しない以上、夏日は彼らのその言い分を見間違い、トリック、もしくは彼らが全員嘘をついているなどで、いくらでも延々と言い逃れが可能なのだ。
赤き真実なき人間界においては、パーペチュアルチェックは最も有効な一手。
延々と相手を否定し合っての水かけ論、千日手。美しくないわ。
ですが、しかし美しさとは勝利の先に望むもの。勝利を得ぬ者が欲すれば毒にしかなりませんよ。
勝てば官軍というでな。
私にとっては美しくなくても、航海者の魔女たちはそれを退屈しないと呼んで好むのかしらね。
なるほど。今回のゲームの流れを把握しました。随分といやらしいものになりそうですね。
百も承知よ。そして私たちはすでに夏日がこれからさらなる罠に誘い込まれるだろうことを知っている。
罠？
うん。ラムダデルタ教が生み出す19年前の男を名乗る何者かがすでに夏日を脅迫している。もうじきの午後1時にとある客室のクローゼットの中に入り、息を潜めよと命じているのだ。クラウスを人質に取られ、夏日は逆らえん。
I already have a feeling what's going on. I'm gonna explain what I think is going on as I'm trying to get an eyelash on my eye. You know, I'm gonna try to get it off camera so that you don't have to see it. So anyways, I think what's gonna happen in this chapter is Natsuhi's gonna hide in the closet, and as she's hiding in the closet, Hideyoshi's gonna get killed in the same room that she's hiding in the closet of. And upon Hideyoshi's death, everyone's gonna discover him, and then, guess what's gonna happen? They're all gonna discover Natsuhi in the closet. A perfect framing for a murder. That's what I think is what's going on, and I almost got the eyelash out. There we go. It should be out by now. I need to wash off my eye. That burns.
なるほど。必要ですね。かばいきれますか？
無論よ。何しろ夏日は犯人ではないのだからな。いくら犯人扱いしようとも、真実も幻想も我らに味方する。負ける道理などないわ。
Golden Sneer. Natsuhi threw her cup of black tea to the ground in protest to show the anger that flowed throughout her entire body. Oh shit.
それはどういう意味ですか？私が疑わしいというのですか？
先に抜けられて自室に戻り、朝まで部屋を出なかったというお話はたまわりました。
I mean, Erika does have a point, but as Beatrice said, I do not think Natsuhi's the culprit. Like, come on, she's the first person they're suspecting. They're the first person, they're never the culprit.
しかし、それを証明していただかないと、アリバイにはならないと申し上げてるのです。
But I've already gone over that routine of me constantly denying Natsuhi is the culprit in previous videos, so I won't go too far into the topic.
証明？どうやって？
どうやってでも結構です。客観的にあなたには犯行が不可能だったと証明してもらえれば結構なのです。他の皆さんは協力してくださっています。夏日さんもそう邪気にされず、どうかアリバイとその証拠を示してもらいたいと思いまして。
そうよ。夏日姉さんには丸一晩の空白時間があるのよ。先に休むと言って会議を抜け、ゲストハウスへ行き、ジョージたちを襲ったかもしれない。
バカなことを言わないでください。どうして私がジョージ君を、そして何より自分の娘を殺さなくてはならないというのですか？
落ち着いて。私たちは等しく疑われてるわ。悲しいけど、潔白の証明は各々がしなくてはならない。
ああ、俺たちだって疑いを晴らそうと必死に昨夜のアリバイ立証に頭を悩ませてるんだぜ。
夏日さんかて疑われて面白いはずもあらへん。悔しいと思うなら自分の潔白を証明する何かを探すのが先決とちゃうか？
The relatives spoke as though they were all under equal suspicion. But they all obviously all know that Natsuhi's the most suspicious, though. But the mood about the place didn't feel so peaceful. Erika was still in the middle of confirming everything. But other than Natsuhi, who was unwilling to prove her alibi, everyone else had an alibi which was reasonably credible. Only Natsuhi, who claimed that just being suspected was an insult, was uncooperative with Erika. And her position began to grow more and more perilous. This parlor was no longer a place of comfort for Natsuhi. And the sound of the cup smashing had made that decisive. My eye still has some afterburns right now, so I apologize if I'm seeming a little bit off for a few minutes. Things getting in your eye are not fun. And the sound of the cup smashing had made that decisive.
バカバカしいことです。どうして娘を失った私が疑われるのですか？私 私が昨夜一人で先に休んだからと犯人と決めつけようとする悪意、こんな屈辱にはこれ以上耐えられません。
へえ、耐えられなきゃどうするの？あなたの無実を証明するアリバイを何か示してみせなさいよ。そんなものないくせにジョージを返して、この人殺し！
予算買えば。夏希さん、あんたも少し疲れてるんや。もちろんそれはわしらもや。少し楽にせんか。
だな、俺たちは少し気を張りすぎだ。
夏日おばさん、どこ行くんだよ。
アリバイ探しも犯人探しも実に滑稽です。台風が過ぎ警察が来れば全てが白日のもとにさらされるのです。私たちが探偵ごっこをする理由など何もない。違いますか、エリカさん。
一般論的にはそうですね。ですが私にはそれをする権限がありますので。
Who gave her that authority? No one asked. It was an authority given by the words of power from a higher world. So the pieces weren't even allowed to doubt it.
私は退出します。警察が来るまで皆さんのくだらない問答にも付き合うつもりはありません。私を疑うならどうぞご自由に。それを疑い晴らすことも私は警察に委ねますので。
It may be a bit late to mention this, but, well, no, this happens every time. As usual, the phone couldn't connect to the police. Natsuhi said the police would come, but that wasn't exactly true. Strictly speaking, the boat to pick them up would come tomorrow, and they would be able to use the radio on that boat to contact the police. Well, it's not like I'll let everyone live that long anyway. Wait, is this Lamb the Delta narrating? This is Lamb Delta, isn't it?
夏日さん、一人になるのは危険だ。ここにみんなで一緒にいた方が。
いいじゃない。それも立派な証明かもよ。これで夏日姉さんが実質で殺されてたりしたら、それも立派な無実の証明だわ。
よせよ姉貴。夏日さんも俺たちも少し一服した方がいいだろうよ。明日まで体が持たねえぜ。
一服はしても油断はせずにね。明日どころか今夜も越せないかもしれないわよ。
夏日おばさん、部屋へ帰るならしっかり施錠して窓も鎧戸を閉めて安全にしててくれよ。俺は誰も疑いたくない。そしてそれ以上にもうこれ以上誰にも犠牲になってほしくない。
It's been a long time since I've seen this kind of valor on screen. It's been a long time since I've seen this kind of valor on screen.
ありがとう、バトラ君。では私は部屋に戻ります。ゴーダ、あとは任せますよ。
Goda's in charge?
お客様にせめてこのような状況ではあってもご不自由をおかけしないように。
That's interesting that she put Goda in charge. Though, when you think about it, yeah, that would make sense because Ken and Shannon are kids and Kumasawa is very elderly. And since Genji's out of the picture, Goda's basically like the only adult servant that's not elderly. So that makes sense.
はい、奥様。心得ております。
And the framing begins. With everyone watching her, Natsuhi left the parlor. From their faces, she could tell that they were expecting the classic mystery pattern. That the first person to quarrel and leave the circle would become the next victim. At death's door, Natsuhi couldn't disobey because of the threat against Klaus. who had been taken as a hostage. Very soon, it would be 1 p.m., the time that had been arranged. She was to hide for an hour in the closet of a specific guest room. It was easy to suspect that this bizarre order was a trap to select her as the next sacrifice. She thought of various ways to resist, but all methods would be useless against a culprit who had a hostage and was observing her from close by. So Natsuhi could do nothing but obediently follow his orders, and then claim that she had been forced to do this for her husband's safety. As the arranged time had drawn near, Natsuhi had intentionally acted annoyed and smashed the cup on the ground to give her an excuse for slipping out of the parlor. At any rate, no matter how cowardly a trap it may be, I cannot disobey now. I am now the one who carries the burden of the one-winged eagle. Now that my husband, Kloss, has been captured, I must protect it, even if I have to crawl through the mud. Of course, I am prepared to do that. I am Ushiramiya Natsuhi. Even if I'm not permitted to bear the one-winged eagle on my clothes, Father gave me permission to bear it in my heart. And she's gonna die with it in her heart. Well, no, she's not gonna die. Hideyoshi is. Shit! Oh god, the narrative actually got me confused for a second. I'm sorry. No, she's gonna get framed for Hideyoshi's murder. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. I legitimately forgot what the storyline was heading for again. Oh jeez, I forgot what the story was about again for a second. I think dashing away in a rage got me here without raising too much suspicion. So far, everything has gone well. Before my eyes was the doorknob of the specified guest room. However, I wondered about the lock. The servants are under orders to always lock any unused rooms. What will I do if it's locked? I dashed out of the parlor, pretending that I was returning to my room. Going back and asking a servant to unlock this guest room would be obviously suspicious. If possible, I'd like to get this eerie hide-and-seek over with without anyone noticing. In that phone call from the one who claimed to be a man from 19 years ago, he said that I would win if no one found me, but lose if anyone did find me. He said that he'd release my husband whether I won or lost. But as a person with a hostage taken against me, I'd rather not lose. I don't like it at all, but I have to go along with this game. I softly gripped the doorknob, and I could feel that it was unlocked. Did Shannon or Kumasawa forget to lock it after cleaning? Or did that man unlock it in advance? That man couldn't be waiting for me in this room, could he? And then all that about hide and seek might have been just an excuse. I kept the fact that I was coming here a secret, and all of the other people think I'm resting in my room. If I were to be killed in this situation, in this room, it might create a new baffling murder case, like an extension of the one which occurred this morning.
そうならばむしろ好都合です。犯人と直接対決する良い機会ではありませんか。
Natsuhi had some experience with using a naginata, but only from casual lessons. Japanese poem, naginata. What is naginata? The naginata is a pole weapon, and one of the several varieties of traditionally made Japanese blades, the honto. Naginata were originally used by the samurai class of feudal Japan, as well by the ashigaru, foot soldiers, and sohei, warrior monks. The naginata is the iconic weapon of the Onna Bugeisha a type of female warrior belonging to the Japanese nobility. Naginata for fighting men and warrior monks were O Naginata. The kind used by women was called Ko Naginata, since the Naginata with its pull was heavier and much slower than the Japanese sword. The blade of the Ko Naginata was smaller than the male's O Naginata in order to compensate for the lesser height and upper body strength of a woman than an armored male samurai. Okay, so that's a Naginata. Like Ava, she couldn't brag about being able to hold off any single ruffian immediately. As she was now, she had no realistic chance of prevailing over a man with malicious intent on her own, and no weapons that could make that possible. Here we go. The room's gonna be empty. She readied herself and slowly opened the door. Yeah, I know for certain the room's gonna be empty. She couldn't afford to stand around in the corridor and risk being seen by someone. The atmosphere inside the guest room was ice cold, and she could sense no trace of a person waiting impatiently for her. All she could hear were the unsettling sounds of the wind and rain. At first, that seemed to be proof that no one existed to threaten her. But before long, it only stirred up the uneasy feeling inside her all the more. The closet was just off to the side of anyone entering the room. Lined up against it was a set of hangers where guests could hang their coats. This closet, which had nothing hanging in it, was large enough for even an adult to hide in. She softly opened the closet. Of course, there was nothing inside. She would have to hide quietly in here for an hour. The room had a wood floor, but something like a carpet had been laid in the closet. It seemed that sitting down wouldn't be a problem. She had been sure that someone would be waiting for her in this room, or that a strange letter would be lying in the closet. She had even imagined the worst, that her husband's corpse might be inside. However, none of these things she imagined turned out to be true. Yep, instead, someone's gonna enter the room and get murdered. And guess who that person's likely gonna be? Hideyoshi. But of all the rooms... Wait, okay, hold on. No. There's something that doesn't add up, though. There is something that doesn't add up right now. Of all the rooms, why would Hideyoshi go to that specific room by himself without Ava? And how did the murderer know he would go in that specific room without Ava? Unless the murderer had been in contact with Hideyoshi beforehand, it doesn't add up how he got in this room to get killed. However, none of these things she imagined turned out to be true. All that was here was a cold guest room, and a lifeless closet, which silently urged her to go inside.
この中に1時間隠れているというのですね。バカにした話です。
Natsuhi shrugged, turned around, then locked and chained the guest room door.
これでこの部屋には誰も入れないではありませんか。つまり1時間の間誰にも私を見つけることはできない。私の勝ちです。バカバカしいかくれんぼですね。
Oh, but somehow Hideyoshi's gonna get in here. This would certainly result in a total victory in the hide-and-seek game against that mystery man. However, it was such an easy victory, it made her feel uneasy. This is normally against the rules of hide-and-seek. Even if I win, won't this displease the culprit? And everyone thinks I'm in my room right now. If they find a room with the chain set, that will be an impossible locked room to them. Erika was dashing around the mansion to confirm everyone's alibi. If she notices that the chain is set on this room, there will probably be an uproar which will end in them cutting the chain and searching the room. If that happens, I'll be found hiding in the closet right away. It would be easy for me to honestly confess why I was hiding, but that man insisted that I not reveal that. If I tell them, I might be endangering my husband. Thinking of it that way, setting the chain. No, even locking the door might be a bad idea. That's right. This room was unlocked when I came here. If it were to suddenly become locked, it's conceivable that it might catch someone's attention. It's better if I don't do anything unnecessary. That man only told me to hide. And that's her mistake.
結局言いなりになるしかないのですね。
Oh no, this is a mistake! Oh no, this is so a mistake on her part. Oh god, that's how he got in the room. I hate doing it, but I can't disobey. I undid both of those precious locks. Oh, I did both of those two precious locks. Okay. I undid both of those two precious locks. Went into the dimly lit closet, filled with the smell of old wood, and managed to close the door from the inside. Pitch black. It reminded me of when I was young, when I used to hide somewhere and then surprise my mother. But that peaceful recollection wasn't enough to kill off my anxiety. It really is pitch black. From in here, I won't even be able to check my watch to see if an hour has passed. I'll probably need to open the door a crack every once in a while to let in enough light from my watch. For now, I sat down and folded my legs. I thought about holding my knees to my chest, but it hurt my back when I tried. I'm not as young as I used to be. Even though I and the rest of my class were made to sit on the floor, collapsing our knees in every PE class as grade schoolers, I now have to struggle just to sit down. Just sitting down here for an hour will probably hurt a lot. Bit of darkness. I can't believe he expects me to sit in the darkness for a full hour, listening only to the wind and the rain. I'm gonna repeat that line. I can't believe he expects me to sit in the darkness for a full hour, listening only to the wind and the rain. Ironically, Natsuhi had made Jessica do the exact same thing in the past. She had done it to scold Jessica's persistent bad habits and teach her a lesson when she was a little girl. She had thought that making Jessica stay put in the darkness would sprout a desire to reflect on her mistakes, and that, this way, she would understand what she had done wrong. To Natsuhi, it almost felt like she was being made to do the same thing. Oh! Interesting. Hold on. Oh, that gets me into thinking a little bit more about the man from 19 years ago, because the man of 19 years ago is only a being within Natsuhi's head. He was only a being in Natsuhi's head. That brings up a lot of more questions about the murders this time around, but I'm gonna ignore that for now. If we interpret the man from 19 years ago telling her to do this as a form of her punishing herself for the mistreatment that she gave to Jessica, that could lead to a lot of things as to why the man from 19 years ago has came to Natsuhi. He had came to Natsuhi in the form of her reflecting on her entire life, because her life is about to be ruined. Her husband, who has been hiding their father's death for over a year, is now being caught. Everything's falling apart by Kenzo slowly being caught. So that's why the man from 19 years ago is Natsuhi reflecting on herself and realizing all of her wrongdoings during her life, and she is punishing herself for all of what she's done. Now, it's time for me to go into the mind process that will probably make Burn Castle smile. This could easily also be an explanation as to Natsuhi being one of the murderers on Rokujima. The man from 19 years ago, aka herself, she's using the man from 19 years ago as an excuse to kill off her family members in a final bit to possibly, save her own skin. Though, of course, why would she kill her own daughter? That's a good point out. Why would she kill her own daughter? Well, what if she's just trying to take care. She's just, trying to get rid of everyone and then get rid of herself. That could be what's going on here. Natsui's doing a murder-suicide of her entire family. And then after everything, the name of the Uchiha family will not be tarnished by this controversy. If she and her entire family are dead, no one can figure out what truly happened within the Uchiha family in its last years. This is a dark theory that I'm not 100% sure if I like that much, but that could be a definite theory as to what's going on here with the interpretation of the man from 19 years ago being Natsui's subconscious punishing her. That this murder mystery was done by Natsui trying to do an ultimate form of a murder-suicide of herself and her entire family to, not tarnish the name of the Uchiha family with the controversy of her and her husband faking Kinzo's death. Yeah, personally, I'm not a big fan of my own theory. I'm not a big fan because I don't like the idea of Natsui being the culprit of the murders because that's too easy of an answer. That's too easy of an answer. Plus also, there could be different culprits for each and every game. So, in a way, technically, she could be the culprit of this 5th game, but that doesn't mean she's the culprit of the other 4 games. So, okay, with that thought, I kind of like my theory a little bit more now. But Natsui's the first one they were suspecting! She can't be the culprit because she's the first person they all suspect! She can't be the murderer with the classic rules of murder mystery setup. The first person to be suspected is never the murderer. Who's the first person suspected? Natsui. The most suspicious one. Natsui. So Natsui. It almost felt like she was being made to do the same thing. If that was the true purpose of this hide and seek.
甘えた考えです。
This must be my naivety. The hope that if his goal is to make me repent, nothing will happen here during this hour. Uncertainty and fear that man's shadow are not what I need right now. Will someone suddenly come into this room, open this closet, and do something horrible to me now that I come here in total secrecy as promised? That's what I should be worrying about. The culprit, or one of his accomplices, is very close by. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to observe me so thoroughly. I don't want to think it, but it's highly likely that the culprit bought off one of the servants. The culprit was able to hide an eerie card with autumn written on it in my room. My personal room is always locked. That trick wouldn't have been possible without a key. Instead of believing that they obtained the key when the servants weren't looking, it's much more realistic to assume that one of the servants had lent the culprit a hand.
しかし、どうして私の好きな季節が秋だと。気持ちが悪い。
Lucky guess. The thought that this mystery man might be peeking into my heart sent goosebumps running across my whole body. It's true that I like autumn, but I've never said that out loud. I don't think anyone's ever asked me either. I could even ask my husband what my favorite season is, and he would probably be stuck for an answer. No. There was one time I told it to a single person. That's right. Shannon. On an autumn day long ago, I happened to be in a good mood. And I mentioned that autumn was my favorite season of the 4. I can't believe it. Then the culprit, or one of their accomplices, has to be Shannon.
私が秋を好きだというのはシャノンしか知り得ないこと。なら、これはシャノンが関わっているという明白な証拠ではありませんか。それをあの秋というカードが証明しています。なんということ。10年にもわたり当家の世話になりながら。
I trembled and shook with rage. Didn't Kinzo once say that the emotion of anger is the fastest sedative to cure fear and uncertainty? It's easy to tell the most fearful humans from within a crowd. They're always the first to get angry. I remember him telling me that. Holy crap. That could have a lot of implications for Kinzo himself. Well, actually, we really do not know too much about his personality, so that might be him, that might not. So I realized that this anger was a sign that I was actually frightened, and I tried my best to remain calm. However, this is a fascinating clue that I can use to turn things around. Shannon may not be reliable as a servant, but if she's the accomplice used by that mystery man, this might actually be convenient. She's a timid girl. If I threaten her, she'll probably spill the name of the mastermind in an instant. I'll tell the police about this in secret. I'm certain it will be a big clue that will help in arresting the culprit.
あのカードで私を驚かし、うまく手綱を取れたつもりだったのでしょうが、むしろ墓穴を掘ったようですね。
I never told anyone except Shannon that I like autumn. How can he use the red? Natsuhi, how can he use the red? How can he use the red? Okay, hold on. How can Natsuhi use red? She's not magical. Well, no, she is magical. She's using Beatrice's magic in order to keep the Kinzo illusion alive. So that makes sense. She can use magic to say red. Okay, that makes sense now. This unshakable proof that she's working with the culprit. Though, I thought this time in the closet would crush me with uncertainty and uneasiness. It had actually given me the start of a counterattack. If I hadn't been given this time in the darkness, I probably wouldn't have noticed this. I felt almost grateful to the culprit for making up this foolish game. My mood brightened. I still couldn't guarantee that my husband was safe, but I was determined to take him back and force the culprit to face judgment. I gripped my fist tightly, and further strengthened my resolve to avoid losing this fight at any cost. No, it's time! Oh no, I was not looking forward to this. I was not looking forward to this, but it's time. No! It's time for Hideyoshi to get killed. I know for certain that it's time. It's time. I don't want to accept it, but here comes the demise of Hideyoshi Ushiramiya. Oh man, here we go. Dead angle. At that moment, I heard the sudden sound of someone trying to force a locked door open. My heart leapt.
なんや、開いとったんか。
Oh shit. The voice was Hideyoshi's. I heard a quiet voice, as though he was talking to himself, coming from what was probably the hallway. Apparently, he had thought it was locked and tried to unlock it, but had ended up locking the unlocked door instead. Once again, there was the sound of the lock turning, and this time, the door opened with a faint sound. Why? Is Hideyoshi-san in this room? Footsteps, which sound like his, came in, and there was the sound of him closing and locking the door behind him. Then came what seemed to be the sound of him setting the chain. Don't tell me Hideyoshi-san is the mastermind? Or else an accomplice? Is he planning to do something to me in this room? The door may only be locked from the inside, but it will still take some time to remove the chain. If Hideyoshi-san doesn't intend to let me escape from here, there's no chance he'll give me time to fumble around with the chain. In that case, when he opens the closet door, wide in just a moment, and looks down upon me, sitting here pathetically, what kind of horrifying words will he say? I don't want to be found. I don't want to be found. I beg you, pass right on by the closet door. Please keep going into the center of the room. My head was filled almost to bursting with a throbbing sound so loud that I almost missed hearing his noisy footsteps. So when I heard a clunking sound coming from the center of the room, I finally realized that he'd passed by the closet and was deeply relieved.
念のためや。どうせこの天気じゃ夜と変わらんわ。
As he muttered, he did something that made a clunking sound. He was probably closing the shutters on the windows. Just in case. In case I tried to escape out the window? No, that can't be it. That's right. When I left the parlor, everyone was talking about possibly taking a break. After all, several murders had occurred. And the weather was bad. There would be nothing abnormal about resting in a guest room here instead of returning to the guest house. In that case, locking up and closing the shutters to guarantee safety was the proper course of action to take. When he finished closing the shutters, there was a thunk as though he had flopped over on the bed. It was surprising how much of the situation could be grasped just by the sound. What's going on here? Did the man from 19 years ago plan all this out to put me in the same room as Hideyoshi-san? No, that probably isn't true. Clearly, he planned on me hiding here. But Hideyoshi-san coming to take a rest here must have been outside the scope of his plan. Thinking about it that way, having him in the room, might help to secure my own safety in an odd sort of way. Natsuhi, think a little bit harder. Think a little bit harder. Unlike his wife, Hideyoshi-san is the kind of person I can talk to. If Ebi-san comes, things will probably get complicated. Maybe I should slip out of this closet now, while he's still alone. Reveal everything just to him, and ask for help. But if I do that, my husband might be killed. It isn't right to do anything rash until my husband is released. Should I go out and talk, or hide in here? Moaning from my headache and biting my lower lip, I resisted the temptation to crawl out of here. Even if I talk with Hideyoshi-san, I don't know where my husband is being held. I'm sure the informant, who's observing me, is nearby as well. Just talking to him won't solve anything. I suspect that Shannon is an informant, but that doesn't mean that Goda and the others aren't. It's no good. Leaving here and confessing is just too dangerous. Eventually, I heard a strange, sobbing voice. Whose voice was it? I strained my ears, trying to hear that strange voice, and was shocked to discover that it was Hideyoshi weeping. Oh yeah, because his son just died. Spiral. Now that he was all alone like this, Hideyoshi, who had lost his only son, was finally able to shed tears and cry. Thinking that he needed to support Ava in her distress, he had acted as though he alone was standing firm. However, he had as good as a right as anyone to cry. And now that he had found a place where no one could see his tears, he was finally allowing himself to let it out. I've lost my daughter too. I haven't seen her body with my own eyes, so it still doesn't really feel like she's dead. But if the one who carried her off was the culprit, and he had some repulsive motive for doing it, just thinking about it makes me feel as though my chest will tear itself apart. The reason I'm hiding in here now is that I'm thinking more than my still living husband than my dead daughter. I'm gonna repeat that. The reason I'm hiding in here now is that I'm thinking more about my still living husband than my dead daughter. But if I were given the chance, I'd be willing at the top of my lungs too. However, I still can't let myself do that. That isn't because the man from 19 years ago told me to hide. It's because I'm the final head of the Ushiyama family. It's been completely overshadowed by all this. But last night, Balor-kun found the hidden gold, and even gained the head's ring from that mysterious envelope. At the very, very end, when it's all over, I probably won't be able to prevent him from inheriting the family headship. And when everything regarding the distribution of the inheritance is revealed, the Ushiyama family honor and glory passed down from father will plummet to the earth. So, I am the final head. Balor-kun will probably inherit the remaining wealth of the Ushiyama family. However, its history and honor will end with my generation. Therefore, I am the final head. I must not cry. Not yet. Until I get my husband back and avenge my daughter, I will not be allowed to shed tears. As I listened to Hideyoshi-san's sobs from the closet, I silently hung my head. Oh shit. Did he see her? Wait, did he see her, or is someone else in the room? Huh? Play. I almost forgot to say the name of the song. My heart leapt. Hideyoshi-san, who must have been lying prostrate on the bed, made a sound as though he had bound to his feet. Did he notice me? No! Hideyoshi just died. He was clearly in a struggle with someone. Who could it be? No, it doesn't matter who it is. It's probably the culprit. And they're probably trying to take Hideyoshi-san's life at this very moment. Should I jump out of here and help him? Even if I couldn't help him, I could at least call for help. No, but if I do something like that, I'll be questioned about why I was hiding in here. However, if Hideyoshi-san goes on to get killed now... No, now isn't the time to be saying that. At this rate, he'll definitely be killed. I'll jump out of here and help him right now. But if I do that, even if I can save Hideyoshi-san, I might be abandoning my husband's life. Hideyoshi-san's life and my husband's life. How sinful it would be to try to weigh those against each other. Just then, there was a loud sound of the door opening and the chain being pulled tight. Someone was trying to open the door despite the chain being set.
あなた、私よ。開けてくれる?
Oh crap! Oh god, Hideyoshi! I mean, not Hideyoshi. Natsuhi's so gonna get caught. Oh no. Eva!
あなた? 何? どうしたの? あなた! ここを開けて! これ開けて! 開けてあなた! 誰か!
God, this chapter! Yes, it is brutal to Natsuhi! But it's the worst to Ava as well! God! Oh god, this chapter is being really brutal to Ava. Like, her son just died. And now she's witnessing her husband's death. And she can't do anything about it, can she? She opened and closed the door over and over again with all of her might. But of course, she couldn't stop the chain. Ava-san raced down the hallway, calling for help in a loud voice. By this time, the room had settled back into silence. And that earlier feeling of Hideyoshi being in a noisy struggle had disappeared completely. What's going on here? So, right now, I'm in the same room as the murderer who killed Hideyoshi-san. In that case, the culprit should try to escape from the room as soon as possible. So why are they staying so quiet in here? I haven't heard anything. Nothing that might have been the culprit who attacked Hideyoshi-san rushing away. No matter how much I strain my ears, I can't sense anyone in the room. In fact, It's so silent that it makes what happened just a few seconds ago feel like an illusion. In other words, does this mean that the culprit is holding his breath? Standing in front of this closet? Waiting for me to shamelessly come out? I don't even know what to be scared of anymore. If only I could just melt away into the darkness of this closet. I mustn't remain in this room any longer. I get the feeling I have more to worry about than just my own personal safety. But what should I do? I don't even know if it's a good idea to leave this closet. Before long, the clamor of many rushing footsteps approached. I held my breath again and melted away into the darkness of the closet. Close my heart. Ava dashed back, bringing everyone with her. Goda was gripping a bolt cutter. It was to cut the chain with. After trying to open the door again and confirming that the chain was still set, she yelled through the crack in the door. Goda stuck a large bolt cutter, which looked like it could slice off. I'm gonna repeat this line, but geez, that is a great description of a bolt cutter. I'm gonna say that now. Goda stuck the large bolt cutter, which looked like it could slice off whole fingers, into the crack in the door and easily severed the chain. As soon as it was severed, Ava pushed Goda aside and dashed in. The others tried to follow her, but they bumped into Ava, who had fallen to her knees, moaning. So even though they couldn't tell much of what was going on inside the room, they could tell by Ava's moans that they were too late.
なんてこった。
南條先生、主人を見て早く。
今見ます。
It's too late though.
嘘だろ。秀吉おじさんが休むって出てって10分かそこいらだってのに。
お風呂場には誰もいない？
はい、誰もおりません。
なんということでしょう。
They're gonna check the closet, and they're gonna find Natsuhi sitting in there. Oh no!
あなた！あなた！
残念だが手の施しようがない。
Nanja stood up, hanging his head sadly. It was only natural, because anyone, even if they weren't a doctor, would think that at a glance. Hideyoshi was lying face down on the bed, and stuck deep into his back was something like a blade with an intricate demonic design on it. When Ava pulled it out with all her might. Bad idea. Well, he's already dead, so it's not a bad idea anymore, but you just kind of messed up the evidence. They could tell that it wasn't a blade, but some kind of stake. A stake? Wait, they used one of the stakes? And its sharp tip had penetrated nearly 15 centimeters in. It had probably dug deep into the lungs. If it had been stuck in any harder, the tip might have pierced all the way through to the surface of his chest. Hold on. This is a parallel! Wait, hold on. This is like a parallel to the first game. Because in the first game, Hideyoshi and Ava were in the guest room together. And they both got murdered in the guest room. I think it was with stakes. Yeah, it was with stakes. But in this game around, Ava and Hideyoshi were not together in the guest room. Only Hideyoshi went into the guest room to rest. So this is a parallel of a world where one of them didn't come with the other into the other room. Meaning, it is accurately depicting in a way the second Twilight tear apart the two who are close. Yes, they're both not going to get killed through this, but they're torn apart because one of the lovers is dead while the other is alive. They're still torn apart because one of the parties is dead while the other is alive. Love is torn apart with death. Or the reverse. But I don't think Eva and Hideyoshi were going to have a divorce, during the incidents on Rokujima, so the only way for them to be torn apart is for Hideyoshi to get killed.
多分犯人は俺たちが油断してばらけるのを待ってたんだろうな。
畜生め、まだ血が足りねえってのかよ。
やはりこの屋敷のどこかに隠れていて。
Why is everyone automatically assuming that the culprit is a he? Why is everyone automatically assuming that? Like, the only person that is aware of the possible culprit is Natsuhi, because the culprit could be interpreted as the person calling her, which is the man from 19 years ago. But I kind of find it funny that everyone's automatically assuming that the murderer is a he.
私たちを狙っているのでしょうか。
それよりおかしいわ。この部屋は戸締まりが完璧なのよ。
確かに鎧戸も全て閉まってますし、扉にはさっきまでチェーンが。
それはおかしいではありませんか。それじゃ犯人はどうやってこのお部屋の秀吉様を襲ったというんですか。
扉の隙間からこの杭を投げて刺したとか。
This feels like an argument that Balor would make.
その隙間から秀吉さんのベッドは完全に死角よ。銃を使ったって殺せやしない。おかしな話になったわ。密室殺人。
密室殺人。
Erika is gonna come in 3, 2.
そうと決めつけるのは早いぜ。
Balor. I thought Erika was gonna make a comment, but no.
風呂場の天井を外して天井裏に逃げたとか、あるいは鎧戸が実は外からでも閉められるとかな。
Here she is. Here she is. Smartless Soye. There we go.
外からはびくともしませんでした。今確認してきました。
Wait. Seriously?
Erika.
It was no wonder everything felt so quiet and relaxed. At some point, Erika had split from the group. Just now, she had finally arrived and poked her face in from the hallway. She had heard that a crime had occurred in this room, seen everyone rushing towards it, and taken the opposite approach by circling around to the outer wall. She had gone all by herself to check that the shutters were down on the windows, that you couldn't do anything with them from the outside, and that there was nothing out of the ordinary.
室内は案の定お約束で。
そういう言い方はねえだろ。
お悔やみ申し上げます。で、室内の状況は
Oh god, this line has the same energy as, oh, I feel so bad for you. So anyways...
扉にはチェーンがかかっていて、私たちは切断して入ったわ。
そして窓には全て鎧戸。しっかり内側から施錠されてる。
奥は何を揉めてるんです？
Eva was arguing with Nanjo about something. Apparently, she wanted to carry the body to the parlor. That's not a great idea because that will make the crime scene a lot more complicated. Nanjo tried to calm her, saying that they should leave the crime scene as untouched as possible until the police came.
ジョージたちの死体はそうしたらどうなったの？犯人にどこかへ持っていかれちゃったのよ。犯人は殺すだけじゃ飽き足らず、遺体にまで何か無体なことをするつもりなのかもしれない。
She has a point! As strange as it may be, but she does have a point about taking the body with them.
だからダメ。ここへ主人を一人ぼっちで残していくなんて絶対ダメ。
Ava did have a point. Like I'm saying, she has a point! After all, the prior victims were all carried away after we were shown their terrible and fatal wounds.
エリカちゃん、現場をそのままで保存したいだろうが、今回はちょいと折れてもらうぜ。
どうぞご勝手に。
Oh, okay.
私にとって興味があるのは金蔵さんの書斎よりはるかにまともな密室が出現したことだけです。死体には興味ありませんので、どうぞご自由になさってくださ
い。It's okay. It's long past the point of me yelling at Erika for being completely, you know, inhumane. It's long past that point, but god damn it, Erika. Battler looked at her with an expression of clear disgust. I'm gonna repeat that. Battler, oh my gosh. Battler looked at her with an expression of clear disgust. But it rolled off her like water off a duck's back.
搬出していただいて結構ですよ、死体。あ、それとも私が邪魔ですか？
Erika backed away from the door to open the path. There was no trace of any sadness for the dead. Her eyes simply blazed at the thought of this locked room murder that had appeared. In any event, the great detective had given her permission. Ava and some others wrapped Hideyoshi's body up in the sheets, and Goda and Rudolph started to carry him out. The sheets quickly turned red. It was so painful to see that Shannon and Kumasawa stripped the blanket off the bed to further cover the body.
ほら、どきやがれ。
ええ、どいてますよ。
100枚運ぼう。
はい。
あなた、あなた。いいこと、みんな。
Sorry, Ava.
これからは常に団体行動よ。絶対に孤立してはダメ。
犯人は源氏さんを襲った時点でマスターキーを得ているはずだ。世情がもはや安全を保証しないことは明白だぜ。
しかしチェーンまでされていたのにどうやって？
不可能だ。鎧戸もチェーンロックもしっかりかかっていた。マスターキーがあったってあの部屋に押し入るのは不可能だ。
きっとベアトリーチェ様の仕業ですよ。
ベアトリーチェ様のはずありません。気分は解かれ、すでに儀式の意味は失われたはず。
わかるものか。こんなの魔女にしか不可能だ。
魔女にしか不可能ですか。
Challenge accepted!
いい響きです。
エリカちゃん、話を聞いてる？私たちはこれから全体行動って決まったわ。私たちはまず秀吉さんの遺体を客間へ運ぶ。探偵ごっこはそれからにしない？
Put her in her place, Kyrie! Hell yeah! When she heard the words, playing detective, Erika grimaced visibly. Put her in her fucking place, Kyrie! Then, after everyone filed out, she took a single step into the now empty guest room, looked around, and burned the scene into her eyes. Erika claimed to have a photographic memory. You know what? Is photographic memory a real thing? Hold on. I've seen it all the time in TV shows, but I never really, seen if it was actually a real thing. Like, I never looked it up. Okay, oh. Hold on. This might give an answer. A eidetic memory, or more commonly called photographic memory, is the ability to recall an image from memory with high precision for a brief period after seeing it only once, and without using a mnemonic device. Although the terms eidetic memory and photographic memory are properly used interchangeably, they are also distinguished, with eidetic memory referring to the ability to see an object for a few minutes after it is no longer present, and photographic memory referring to the ability to recall pages of text or numbers, or similar in great detail. When the concepts are distinguished, eidetic memory is reported to occur in a small number of children and generally not found in adults, while true photographic memory has never been demonstrated to exist. The word eidetic comes from the Greek eidos, visible full. So that proves it. True photographic memory has never been demonstrated to exist. That answers my question. That actually legitimately answers my question. If that was true, those few seconds were more than enough for her. Later on, she could sip black tea in the parlor while sip black tea in the parlor while using her mental photographs of the crime scene, and enjoy playing the part of the armchair detective. Then, suddenly, her eye stopped on the closet off to the side. A closet for hanging overcoats. If it was large enough to fit a coat on a hanger, a person should be able to hide in it. Slowly, Erika stretched her hand out towards the closet. Erika's shoulder was grabbed roughly from behind.
行くぜ探偵さん
Oh my god.
団体行動を乱すなって修学旅行で習わなかったか
私が旅行に行くと必ず人が死ぬってお約束がありまして
What? Wait, pause! What? Can you elaborate on that? Whenever I go traveling, someone always dies. What do you mean by that, Erika? What do you mean? I don't want to go on a vacation with you. You know what? As if I'll ever get the chance of, going on a vacation with the great detective. But if I were to be ever on a vacation with Erika Fruto, I'm gonna try just to leave. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the location where I am if I can, because someone's gonna get killed. Someone's gonna get killed when she's involved.
ほら、何してやがるガキども。早く来い。
Rudolph told him to hurry. After clicking her tongue and glaring at the closet, Erika followed Bowler back to the parlor for the time being. Wow. Natsuhi, just keep on hiding. Just keep on hiding for the rest of this game. Like, don't get out of the closet, run back up to your room, and then get called down by the servants. No, don't do any of that. Just run to somewhere else in the mansion and just hide in that area the whole time. Maybe move locations if they go out for looking for you, but just let them assume that you're dead. Like, that's probably your best option. Let them assume that you died. The sound of their footsteps finally faded. That time of terror. When I feared that even the dripping of the cold sweat that covered my cheeks might be noticed, was finally over. I slowly opened the closet door with hands that still couldn't stop trembling, and dashed out into the hallway. It's alright. No one's found me. Still, it's a good thing that they didn't lock the door. If they had, I wouldn't be able to lock behind me after I left, and they find that suspicious. Anyway, I should leave this place. Then I'll return to my room and pretend that I was sleeping the whole time. That's right. I have to get back quickly. Natsuhi, just let them assume that you died and just hide somewhere. Just hide somewhere. Just let them assume that you died and just hide somewhere. That's your best strategy right now. A new murder has occurred. They will probably try to tell me about it. And they will probably do it immediately after they carry Hideyoshi-san's body back to the parlor. I can get around a phone call by saying that I was asleep and didn't notice. But if they come knocking directly, that'll be bad. I have to get back quickly, before they try to force their way in. Stupefaction. I don't even know whether I should sprint back noisily to save every second I can, sneak back with hushed footsteps, or walk around normally as though I don't know anything has happened. The one thing I'm certain of is that I have to avoid bumping into them on their way back to the parlor. I have to get to my room at a quick pace, without being noticed by anyone. I pass through the hall to the lobby. Once I've ascended the main staircase in the lobby, I'll be almost there.
Natsuhi-san?
Of course. Hey, Erika. Suspicious scent! Just as she was about to go up the large staircase, Natsuhi heard Erika call out to her. And was so surprised that she visibly jumped.
ちょうど今からあなたにも知らせに行こうと思ってたんです。
それはありがとうございます。それで何かありましたか？
今、夏日さん階段を登ってました？夏日さんの部屋って上ですよね。
Fuck! Erika coldly pointed out this strange fact. Natsuhi cursed her bad luck.
寝つけなくて客間に戻ろうとしていたのですが、自分の部屋に鍵をかけたか不安になり戻ろうとしたのです。心配性なのでよくあることです。気にしないでください。
ああ、よくありますよね、そういうの。記憶力に自信のない人にありがちな癖です。
Erika was clearly making fun of her, and Natsuhi might have put on an annoyed expression under normal circumstances. However, right now, Natsuhi was extremely relieved to hear Erika admit that this was nothing out of the ordinary. Hold on, though. Hold on. I think she already got caught, though. I think she already got caught. Natsuhi-san, Hiik, I was just about to go tell you. Thank you very much. That seems like an odd response, don't you think? Thank you very much to I was about to go tell you. I think Natsuhi already got caught. I think she already got caught. No, that might not be enough to go off of.
エリカさんこそお一人でどうしたんですか？
例の客室を調べようかと思いまして。
客室？
ええ、大変なことになったじゃないですか。
I think Erika already called Natsuhi on her bluff.
現場検証は私の権利ですので。
Erika's probing gaze peered deep into Natsuhi's eyes. She could tell. Erika was already suspicious of Natsuhi, judging by the subtle nuances of her words. This was almost certainly an attempt to make Natsuhi slip up and reveal that she knew about the Hideyoshi murder she hadn't yet been told about. Natsuhi played dumb and asked again what had happened.
何か？
いえ、何でも。また最初の事件の繰り返しですね。
どういう意味ですか？
またあなたは自室で、そして今回もそのアリバイを証明できないわけですよね。
おっしゃっている意味が分かりません。逆を言えば私が自室にいなかったことをあなたこそどう証明されるわけですか？
Natsuhi, you need to say different words. You need to say different words. Or if you're alone with Erika, just do a little bit of a... Just, silence her, and then hide. Yeah, my strategies are not the best strategies. Just do a little bit of a...
おや、そうきましたか。ならばそれはおいおい。鍵は後にしてください。皆さんに重大な話があります。
鍵を確認したら戻ります。先に始めていてください。
秀吉さんが殺されました。その件についてです。
She had planned on escaping to her own room, using her lock as an excuse, claiming to have a sudden headache and staying in bed the rest of the time. That's a bad idea! Why would you try that? However, now that she had been informed of Hideyoshi's murder, it would be clearly suspicious to say that could wait and escape to her room. She was already under suspicion after being seen heading up the stairs to the second floor. She couldn't afford to do anything else suspicious. Natsuhi gave up and headed for the parlor, as Erika had urged her to do. She's fucked. Natsuhi's fucked. When she opened the door to the parlor, Ava's sobs poured out. Oh, we're leading up to the beginning of this game, aren't we? And everyone stared at Natsuhi with grave faces. Those gazes almost made it look as though they suspected her. It was now painfully apparent to Natsuhi. This must have been what the man was after. It was a trap to create a baffling locked room murder, and framed her for it. But I couldn't disobey. I couldn't sacrifice my husband's life. And while it's true that I was hiding in the closet, that was all. I haven't committed murder. I might fall under enormous suspicion, but I'm still not the culprit. And most importantly, I'm not under suspicion yet. I'll tell the police everything. I'll have to endure until then. I'm sure one of the servants is feeding information to the culprit. Even in a situation like this, if I talk about my husband being a hostage, the culprit will hear, and it might be used as an excuse to kill him. Oh god, Natsuhi. I'm gonna sound like the worst person ever, but forget about your damn husband and try to save your own skin.
ちょうど夏日さんが戻ってきてくれました。全員が揃ったところで、私から皆さんにとても重要な話があります。
重要な話？
重要な話です。最初の事件からをすべて皆さんの前で整理したいと思います。
それなら他の皆さんとなさってください。私はそういうことは警察に任せるべきと思っています。関心がありません。
整理した上で重要なお話があるのです。あなたにも誰にも断る権利はありません。
Erika used her detective's authority to proclaim the start of an assembly. None of the pieces could disobey. Praying that she wouldn't become the topic of the conversation, Natsuhi reluctantly sat on the sofa as she'd been urged to. It's time.
すみません。その扉閉めてもらえます？
はい。
Oh shit. Shannon and Cannon closed the door. Since they had just now decided to lock all doors and windows carefully, Cannon locked it as well. The lock, which existed to protect the safety of this room, felt like a lock on a prison cell to Natsuhi, one that would hold her there and prevent any escape. Natsuhi still hadn't noticed that ever since Erika had left into the corridor to go check the crime scene in Hideyoshi's room, her goal had changed. In short, from Erika's point of view, The sound of that lock was truly...
チェックメイト。
Yep! Natsuhi's so fucked! Erika said that suddenly. Burn Castle said that suddenly.
あら早い。何？もう犯人分かっちゃったの？まだ事件だって全然進んでないのよ。もう少し殺させていろいろと手がかりを集めればいいのに。
さあラムダ、すべての駒を集めなさい。ここからが一番面白いんじゃない？思い切り楽しみましょう。お互いにね。
どうかしらね。お手並み拝見といくわよ。
I left that computer on by mistake. I apologize for that. I left that computer on by mistake. If you heard a, ding in the background, I left my other laptop on by mistake. Wait, what kind of notification is that? Oh, Funimation just uploaded. Why do I have notifications on for Funimation? Why does my laptop have that on?
24時のゲームセットを待たずにもう仕掛けてきたとはな。ベルンカステル共鳴、気の早い御仁よ。
相当の早仕掛けですな。この段階でもう勝てる算段があるとは。
普段なら魔女の存在を主張するだけで勝てるけど、今回は夏日や金蔵や守るものが多いわ。面倒な戦いになりそうね。
面倒な戦い、大いに望むところよ。わらわの黄金の島でこれ以上の好き勝手はさせぬわ。受けて立とうぞ、ベルンカステル卿、フルドエリカ。
Oh shit! What's happening now? Oh, we're back to the Golden Land. In the Golden Land, the endless rain continued to fall. Voiceless, Bowler was nowhere to be seen. It would very soon reach the time when Bowler joined in on the 5th game, and control of his piece would be passed on to him. In other words, only now, in this final stage of the game, when Burn Castle had pinpointed the culprit, was Bowler finally going to be allowed to participate. He had left the Arbor a short while ago for that reason. Now, the only ones in sight were Vigilia, who continued to knit silently, and Beato, who just sat there blankly and missed the smell of her black tea, not even putting the cup to her lips. Virgilia stopped knitting for a moment, and looked across the vast golden rose garden that extended as far as the eye could see.
バトラ君は誰が犯人云々というだけのゲームなら、もう二度と屈することのない力を身につけたと言えるでしょう。第4のゲームまでであなたは全てのメッセージを彼に伝えています。つまりバトラ君はいつでも全ての真実に気づいても良いということです。しかし彼には甘えがある。だからこのままゲームを幾百と続けたとしても永遠に解けはしない。まるで青い鳥を探すかのように永遠にさまよい続けるだけ。
We always go back to the blue bird. I still need to watch it. I still need to watch the show. And that, Beatrice, goes for you as well. Even if you play this game hundreds more times, you will never arrive at the answer you seek. Burn Castle will abuse this game without a doubt. Lambda Delta will also churn this game about with the utmost arrogance. at a glance, that may be humiliating and appear to you and Balor as though the game has been stolen from you. However, that is something the two of you need right now. To bring an end to Balor's weak side. To bring an end to your hesitation.
だからあなたは
I'm trying to think, what is Balor's weak side? Is it his inability of killing the witch? No, that can't be it.
あの二人を呼んだのです。あなたたちの永遠の拷問を終わらせるため。
Oh, it's because he can't remember his sin from 6 years ago. That's it. It's because he can't remember the sin.
あの二人はあなたに勝利か敗北のいずれかを与えるでしょう。しかしそれはいずれであってももはや慈悲に満ちたものです。あなたにももうそれは分かっているはず。
Vergilia faced Beato, whom she had come to adore like a daughter, with cold eyes that she must not have shown often. It was like the gaze of a mother who, instead of scolding, silently urges their child to recognize their mistake. Distant.
ベアトリーチェ、あなたはいつまでそうして生きるでもなく死ぬでもなく天国に昇るでもなく地獄に落ちるでもなく煉獄山の頂上でぼんやりとしているつもりなの。
Oh! Oh! That was a noise!
私はワルギリア。彼を煉獄山に案内し頂上のあなたのところまで連れてきました。そしてあなたはベアトリーチェ、彼の手を取って天国へ昇るか彼を抱いて地獄へ落ちるか選ばなくてはならない。
Did you know that the tribulations of purgatory, which lies in the gap between heaven and hell, are sometimes more torturous than even hell itself? On the gates of hell, it is written that you must abandon all hope. A human without hope can accept their suffering and give up. However, the denizens of purgatory have hope. A hope of possibly reaching heaven. A hope that cannot be abandoned. And that tortures them. Even in the depths of hell, no greater torture device exists than the single pin known as hope.
飛びなさい、煉獄の崖より。淡く脆くてくだらない希望の未練ごとパンドラの箱を開け放ってしまいなさい。怖いでしょう。箱を開けるのは。
Beato was silent, but with a single tear, she nodded slightly.
箱の中の猫は生きているのか死んでいるのか、それを確かめる時が来ました。死んでいる猫ならば早く供養して天へ昇ってもらいなさい。生きている猫ならば早く餌を与えて全ての愛情を注いであげなさい。生き死にに関係なく。あなたの猫箱は猫を永遠に冒涜しています。あなたが開くことを恐れた箱の鍵をあの二人が持ってきてくれましたよ。
Beatrice, the time has come for you to die. I hope that your heart will be stopped by the hand of the person you desire. Umineko no Nakukori ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Oh shit. Oh, we're jumping right to midnight, aren't we? Wait, are we on the final chapters of the game already? Are we already on the final chapters of the game since it's now midnight? No way. We're already towards the end? I mean, I'm excited to see what happens here. I'm excited to see how Erika and Burn Castle prove their points. The Great Court of Illusions. The Great Court. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. Oh shit. Predator. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
OK OK